I've met so many students who believed that they were too old to be able to learn Italian. Are you one of them? Maybe you think that since you're 50, 60, 70, or even 80 years old, your brain just can't handle learning a new language anymore. Or you have heard that children are better language learners. Well, I'm here to completely change your perspective on this. Your age is not a disadvantage. It's actually your secret weapon in learning Italian. Ciao e benvenuto o bentornato sul mio canale. Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Valentina Stella, native Italian teacher, and after more than 6,000 lessons teaching adult students of all ages, including incredible students who started learning Italian in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, I can tell you with absolute certainty that age is not an obstacle to learning Italian. So today I'm going to share with you 5 specific reasons why your age is actually your advantage in learning Italian. But before we dive in, I would love to know, what's your biggest concern about learning Italian at your age, whichever it is? Let me know in the comments below so I can address this in a future video. Ok, iniziamo. Let's begin. Now, the number one reason age is an advantage is that adults are better at language learning than you think. So let's start by addressing the elephant in the room, l'elefante nella stanza, the myth that children learn languages better than adults. Now, yes, children may absorb words and pronunciation more naturally because they are great at mimicking adults. But would you ever take a child as a model for great speaking skills? I don't think so. Children have to go to school to learn proper grammar, structure of the sentence, and advanced vocabulary. But as an adult, you have already gone through that. So you have massive advantages in understanding grammar because your brain has already mastered complex grammar in your native language. You have an advantage in learning vocabulary because you can make connections between English and Italian words, especially with cognates, those words that are very similar in the two languages. And you are better with study strategies because you probably already know how you learn best, while children have to figure this out. So please remember, your life experience is actually your greatest asset in language learning. Now, numero 2, you don't have fewer resources. They are just allocated differently. Now, I know many people think, okay, Valentina, I understand what you just said, but my brain just doesn't work like it used to anymore. And until a few years ago, it was believed that neurons stop regenerating at a certain age, and that was the explanation for cognitive decline. But science has proved that your brain continues to form new connections and adapt throughout your entire life. This neuroplasticity continues well into old age. So here's the real difference. When you are a child, what are your only concerns? Eating, sleeping, playing. You can dedicate 90% of your mental resources to learning. As adults, we have real responsibilities. We need to pay bills, we have work, we have family, we have health concerns. These things naturally consume a lot of mental resources because they have to, and you can't avoid that. They are part of life. So this doesn't mean that you have less capacity to learn. It just means that you need to be more strategic with your resources. And guess what? That's actually another advantage because number 3, you are more strategic and focused than young learners. Now, young people get distracted by every new app, every new TikTok video, and every new flashy language learning game. They can spend hours consuming passive content without actually practicing. But older learners understand the value of active practice. When you sit down to study Italian for 20 or 30 minutes, you do actually study. You write sentences, you practice speaking, you engage actively instead of just consuming content. This focused approach leads to faster progress than younger learners who waste hours on ineffective activities. You don't believe me? Well, I once had a wonderful student who started learning Italian in her 70s. And then at 80, she was also learning piano to play Christmas songs to her family. She made incredible progress in both in Italian and piano, because every single session was focused and strategic and had no distractions. By the way, if you don't know where to start with focused practice, I prepared a free resource for you with the first 10 verbs that you need to learn to start speaking Italian. You can download it as a PDF for free using the link in the description of this video. Now, why is focused practice so much more common in older students? Because, from my experience as a teacher, age brings motivation and discipline. In my many years of teaching, I've noticed repeatedly that my adult students, especially those in their 40s, 50s, and beyond, are usually the most consistent learners. Why? Because you are learning Italian for a reason that's meaningful to you. Maybe you're learning because you want to connect with your Italian heritage. Maybe you're planning your dream retirement in Italy. Or maybe you just want to keep your brain active and healthy. When you do have a powerful why, you do show up for lessons, you do your homework, and you practice regularly. Younger students often lack this intrinsic motivation. And guess what? Consistency beats raw talent every time in language learning. And finally, numero 5. You should be proud, not ashamed. This is the most important point I want to make. You should be incredibly proud of yourself for learning Italian at any age. My older students have been my biggest inspiration. They prove every day that courage, determination, and the desire to grow don't have an expiration date. You are not just learning Italian, you're showing the world that's never too late to pursue your dreams and expand your horizons. That deserves celebration, not shame. So, bravo or brava. So please, per favore, stop thinking you're too old to learn Italian, because you're not. Your age gives you wisdom, focus, discipline, and strategic thinking that younger learners often lack. These are superpowers in language learning, especially nowadays. So take your Italian journey one step at a time, un passo alla volta. Un passo alla volta. Focus on progress over perfection, and remember that every small step forward is a victory worth celebrating. And now, please tell me in the comments which one of these points resonate the most with you. What's your biggest concern about learning Italian at your age? I want to hear from my amazing students of all ages. Alla prossima! Ciao da Valentina!